Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello everybody, welcome again to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast and we have the exciting, thrilling, enthralling 0-0 draw at Wycombe to talk about. None of those words are actually applicable to that game. But then we have Tuesday night against Lincoln, which promises to be probably a bit more entertaining. We will cover all that in the next hour or so. We have the standard people with us, Michael and Daniel. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hello.
And the part-timer that is Benjamin's with us. Nice that you can fit us into your hectic little schedule, mate. Us three holding down fort and you just popping in whenever you like.
Yeah.
And also appears to be eating rice pudding or yogurt, man.
Rice pudding.
First time getting.
I was going to say, it can't fit us in too much. He's got to eat while we're talking. Brilliant.
Wowzers.
Busy life. Busy
Go, Ben.
life.
Busy
life. Yeah, man.
If you say so.
Hard
Anyway.
life, man.
Anyway. Thank you all for being with us today. I know this is not the most enthralling game we're going to talk about, but every point counts. So we've got a few people already with us. Gav Grundy, Paul Brook, the YouTube user. Philip Halls from New Zealand is still with us, recovering from COVID. He hates Wycombe, so dull.
That's the sentence of the day.
Donna's with us. Carl Briggs is with us. We've got Logie with us. Thank you all for being with us today. Mick, Wycombe are a good team, aren't they?
Oh, don't. I knew you were going to come to me first. And I'd like to try and, sort of bring a bit of positivity to something for once in my life. But this is not going to be subject, is it? I mean, for Christ's sake, it was just horrible. But I mean, I'm not even. I don't even know why I'm surprised. But I am still ridiculously, slightly surprised that it was as bad as it was. But I mean,
I'm going to offer a slightly different viewpoint and say they were nowhere near as bad as what I thought they were going to be. Now, I will caveat that by saying they were time wasting within 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but I thought, particularly second half, that was the most expansive I have ever seen Wycombe under Gareth Ainsworth against us. Danny, do you think that's fair, or am I just giving too much credit?
I think in the second half, Wycombe probably realised we were trying to out-Wycombe. And I'm glad I haven't had a drink before I start saying this, because I will be saying Wycombe quite a lot in this sentence, because we tried to basically just stop them playing football. So we did try and quite effectively in the first half try to out Wycombe, but then Wycombe caught on, so then we had to try and keep up with a different type of Wycombe, but we still kept up with it and stopped Wycombe from scoring against a team trying to out Wycombe and kept it 0-0. I can breathe now.
fair assessment.
I think it is a fair assessment. Yeah. Let's go back to the start of the game. Let's look for the starting lineup, because there were one or two changes, one or two surprises, I suppose. Vickers in goal again, and it was 0-0, so that's another clean sheet. Coming to those stats in later on. The back three was last season's back three: Icky, Woody, and Angus MacDonald, which I think was Angus's first league start, or that last league game. I can't remember. Anyway, it's great to see Angus back regularly playing football, which is what I'm trying to say. The midfield three was the standard midfield three: Rathbone, Miles, and Barlasser. On the right-hand side was Harding, left-hand side Shane Ferguson, Smithy up top, obviously, and Chio Ogbene as the second striker, Ben. Let's start with the striking situation. Before we talk about the game, I thought it just didn't work with Chio up top. I don't think he got involved in the game, and when he got onto the right-hand side, when he was on the right-hand side, we saw Chio. Other than that, we didn't see him through the middle.
Yeah, I don't think he links up well with Smith up top, but I can't remember who he played up front against, but he played really well, I thought. Who was it? He played up front for like last 15 minutes, I'm pretty sure.
You did, yeah. I can't remember. Now you're right.
I thought he played well.
Won it.
Yeah. But I think the reason it didn't work.
That wasn't when Woody was sent off and Smith were at centre back, was it?
Not sure.
Anyway.
No, I don't think it was because yeah.
This conversation is not as interesting as the game yesterday, isn't it?
You made me lose my train of thought. I don't think it worked because we didn't have that attacking threat on the outside. I think last time we did. I can't remember who it was though. Might have been 2-2, but whatever. I think we lacked that attacking threat. It was a very defensive back five. So I just think we lacked on the wings. I think it will have worked if we had Miller and Tutu playing instead of Harding and Ferguson.
Yeah. Will Robert mentioned Chio did play up top against Brentford last season on telly. I think against Barnsley as well last season as well. He has done it and it has worked in the past. Saturday for some reason, whatever that reason was, whether it was because Wycombe nullified him, I don't know, Mick. But it's tough because obviously JJ clearly wasn't fit enough to play any minutes because he didn't come on the pitch. So then it did create this problem. It did create this hole. Are you surprised he didn't go with Wiles again? Bearing in mind that started and didn't really have chance to try it out on Wednesday.
I thought it might have been a better option because, like Ben said, we had no threat out wide, or very little threat out wide, and it culminated with Chio having to come out wide to collect the ball eventually. But yeah, the threat was nullified because that's what Wycombe do, and they just nullify everything. Including your will to live when you're watching them. So it didn't work. You're right, it didn't, and it's a bit of a quandary for Warney at the moment. Like you say, hopefully JJ might be fit for Tuesday or certainly for Saturday. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm not convinced by it. I'll be honest. I'm not at the moment anyway.
Yeah. Would you say anybody else, Danny? That Jamie says he thought Miller might have been a better option up front, but he's only played on Wednesday. Sorry. Were there any other options you think, or do you think one was right to try it at least?
I mean, it's a difficult one because we have got a game Tuesday to think about, which we can probably see as more of a 3 points potentially. I think the main thought process was don't lose to Wycombe. Because if we were to lose again and either Wigan or MK Dons were to have won, then that's the gap down to a single point, which, now that we've only got 9 games left, we need to keep a little bit of an eye or more of an eye on them. And so I think it starts coming into, right, where can we effectively finesse points out of clubs now? It's more of the tactics of winning points rather than winning football games, which sounds really bad to say, but when you do want to go up automatic and MK Dons have got the tails up and they haven't lost in however many, you do need to keep a little eye on them. I think to have played Wiles in that position would have probably been a better idea, but with a Doffin, the only other fit midfielder that's not a youth player, because Lindsay's out now for however long, we could have done that, but then we've got no midfielder option on the bench if one of them was to drop out again. So I can see why we've played Chio there, but for me personally, he sort of lingered out right a little bit too much, and I think that comes down to he's trying to think how he plays for Ireland, because that's the sort of position he plays for Ireland. But he plays as a 2 there, because you've got the 1 centre forward and then the 2 slightly off it, which I think he plays with McLean for Ireland in that sort of position. So I think if we were to play that, we'd almost need to try and do a little bit of a Christmas tree with midfield, then the 2, then Smudge. Whether that's an option next season, we'll have to wait and see. Because if you were to have Chio and Miller and then Smith, that's quite frightening pace-wise. But, but we played Ferguson on that left-hand side, probably because just as a little bit of defensive cover for Icky, who was playing on the left, and Angus was on the right, which puzzled me a little bit, I will admit, because bear in mind Angus is left-footed.
I don't think he's left-footed, but he played the left-hand side of that back 3 all last season. So I agree with you. It's just strange.
Yeah, but I don't know. For me, it was just it was just one of them games of football where you were sort of willing them to score, and you're really annoyed that they didn't score. But also, when looking at Tuesday, it's like, at least we didn't lose,
Yeah.
that's my thought process behind it. We kept Wycombe out. It's another clean sheet. It's a shame we didn't score and win the thing, but point's a point, innit? And I think we are. Is it 2 or 3 off the League One record for clean sheets in a season? I think it's 2.
Well, we're now on 21, aren't we? 21st yesterday.
Might be more. It might be about 4 then. Yeah, getting there.
The club record is 24 clean sheets in a season, from what I can tell, in the 80-81 season. So that's within touching distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben. I saw a lot of discord. No, what's the word? Displeasure. I can't. There is a word I'm thinking of. I mean, unhappiness on social media about the fact that we didn't go and win the game. But I am firmly in Danny's camp, where it's okay to pick up a point away at somebody like Wycombe. I'm not saying they're a world-class team, but the way they play doesn't suit us. And to get out of there with everything still the same, it's not an amazing result, but it's certainly not a bad result.
There's other games that can be won. I don't think that's a place where you go and push for the win, because they'll just take sting out of you and then punish you. So I think the tactics yesterday, or what I thought looked like the tactics yesterday, were a good choice, and I thought a point's a good result because it's a point extra. It's not, at least we didn't lose. Do you know what I mean? I think it's better than no points, and we just everyone drew yesterday, didn't they? So it's kind of just another game, or like, you know what I mean?
Like
Same thing. Yeah, like it didn't happen, but one game less. Which is probably the best result that could have happened, unless except us winning, obviously. But yeah, I'm happy with a point. Obviously it's a bit annoying after watching all that and then still get a point, but a point's a point, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Make anything to add on that?
No, I think he's bang on. I think he's absolutely bang on there, Ben. It was a not lose game, weren't it? And we can't win every week. And again, I'm going to reiterate what Ben's just said there. If we'd have gone there and gone all guns blazing, we would have probably ended up getting punished. So yeah, walk away. We move on, don't we? We've kind of ticked it off the list. We've got it out of our system. We don't have to put up with that anymore this season. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they won't go up through playoffs, and we won't have to put up with it next season. Fingers crossed. It's been something that's sort of been bane of my life now for 3 or 4 years that we have to play them twice a year, and it's just like, I don't know. It's like looking forward to go to the dentist, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's going to come twice a year. You just don't want to do it, but you know that you've got to.
Yeah, very true. Michael Fairbank, after playing Wednesday as well, a point is a decent result. These next 2 home games are key. Yes, they are. We'll go on to those. Philip Hall says he should have stayed in bed instead of going early.
Good call out, Phil. Yeah, definitely.
Shellstone, which I think is an important point. It wasn't as bad as the game at New York, and I suppose it's not credit to Wycombe, but it's important to point out that they were a bit more expansive. Although I mentioned earlier, when David Stockdale is time wasting on 8 minutes, and he's waiting for the attackers to come to him, and attackers are sort of going, well, you're at home within 8 minutes. Why are you not trying to move the game forward? Was strange. But to be fair, Danny, I'll give a bit of credit to Wycombe. I thought Stockdale's distribution yesterday causes a lot of problems. I thought it was when he eventually did kick it, it causes a lot of problems. We still dealt with it okay, but that was their best course of action. It was going direct from Stockdale.
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, that comes down to them playing a bit more expansive in the second half as well. They sort of understood what we were trying to do, and they went, all right, we'll change it a little bit. And then Stockdale's distribution caught us out at times, but like you say, we did deal with it. The penalty shout. There's a penalty shout they had in the second half. Oh, dear. For me, right, it is a little bit suspect, but I think the referee didn't give it because we had a very blatant foul just before it. They've gone up the other end and played for penalty. The
one on McDonald?
No, I don't think so. I can't remember it exactly, but there was a chance coming forward, and I can't remember who it was, but someone is fouled, right? And Oral's got called for a free kick. referee looks at it, doesn't give it. They look the other end, have a penalty shout, and then he doesn't give it. And we were all saying to each other, if that other foul wasn't given, he might have made that decision a bit more harshly on us with the penalty. But that and all their fans thought it was a penalty because of course they did. But yeah, I think going back to Stockdale, his distribution was very good. Probably one of the highlights for their distribution throughout the game. Because let's face it, in that game, we couldn't, both us and them didn't really string 10 passes together.
No.
It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up in the air, lost possession, and repeat for the rest of the game. But it, like Cheryl said, it was a better game because we tried to keep it on the floor a bit more. And I noticed that we weren't like oofing it as forward as much as we did at New York. We were trying to get it on the floor a little bit. I don't think he got the message a little bit because he tended to oof it long a little bit. But yeah, whenever we got it in midfield, you could see they were trying to bring it down and play football. But then Wycombe stopped us. Then Wycombe went long, and then we stopped them. It was just trying to like trying to rub the wrong ends of a magnet together. They just kept flinging off each other, and nothing really happened with it. It's just a game I want to forget. Got a point. Move on.
Yeah, no, exactly. Don London, was their manager still channeling his inner Mick Jagger with the cowboy boots? Yes. Did you see the Jeff Stelling thing where he Mick at him on Soccer Saturday? Pre-game, for some reason, I don't know why, Sky Sports were in for Warney and Gareth Ainsworth together. Also, Gareth Ainsworth, button unzipped to his belly button. And they've come back to the studio and Jeff Stelling. There's two great managers there, and Jeff Stelling's got his shirt unbuttoned all the time. Copying Gareth. If you haven't seen it, it's funnier than I made it out to be.
Yeah, I'll have a look out for that. See if it raises a smile, Matt, because your description didn't.
That ain't it was funny, isn't it?
It was just the cut back, and he's there just half cast with his shirt. It's like, oh, national treasure is Jeff Sterling.
He is. Liam McGarry, just a word on how good our fans were. Great noise, great numbers, Danny. They were for Wycombe, which is not an exciting game. It's not a local one. Having just gone to Hartlepool 3 days earlier, they were very loud and there were loads of them.
Yeah, there were just shy of 1,000. I think it were 988 of us. I think.
Very good, that.
And yeah, the noise was very good. We definitely tried to will our team on to score a little bit, but you can tell after 85 minutes we did just settle for the point in the end. But yeah, great noise, great following. It is potentially the last away day until Wembley now, if Sunderland gets called off because of the international break. So yeah, very great following. But the one bone I have to pick with Wycombe, right, with our travelling contingent, the one bone I have to pick is that I don't have my sign anymore. And it's because fair enough, it's not the steward's fault. They're just doing what they've been told to do. But this fella comes up and he says, "I'm sorry, mate, I'm gonna have to take the flag off you." I was like, "Why? What's the matter?" People upstairs think it's a bit too political. I have to take it off you. It's like, all right, can I have it back at the end of the game? Yeah, sure, no worries. Go to get it after the game. Where's my sign gone? Oh, we don't know where we put it. So Chief Steward's looking around all bins and says, "I'm sorry, mate, I think someone's binned it." It's like,
why would it say on it?
Well, I can't repeat it on lot. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, a more rude version of Down with Putin, basically. But they thought, "Oh, it's too political." And the worst thing was, they said to me, it was the police who were in the control box that said, "Oh, that's too political." That it's like, well, Plymouth, Shrewsbury, and Hartlepool didn't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Well. So we'll have £2.50 in a Freddo compensation, please, Wycombe.
Yeah. Let's talk about another positive. S64 million comments. Angus was amazing all game. Man of the match from him. Ben, I thought all three defenders did very well, but Angus is a cut above for me. He's clearly one of the best, probably the best defender we've got on this day. And they just couldn't. Wycombe got absolutely zero change out of him.
Yeah. I like him, yeah, but he's.
I forgot about this from last season.
He's got a stupid red card in him. He's got a stupid red card in him, as proven before. No, but he's only got one red card in his career, but I don't know, man. There's something about him that it's just like, in nowadays football, he's not. For me, he's not. I don't know, because I don't know. He's got a stupid red card in him. I feel like. One every season. I feel like it can cost you. But yeah, he's all right. I think he's all right. I think I don't think he's what everyone thinks he might have to be. To be honest, I think a lot of people are being blinded by the fact that he's had a comeback and all this, and it's of his story and stuff like that. But that's not going to do it for me, unfortunately. I think he's all right. I'd start him. Definitely, but I think he's all right.
You didn't consult your notes properly there, Matt, did you, when you went to bed?
No, I didn't. No,
you didn't do your research.
Didn't think it through, did I? Yeah, I'm just checking his footballing career, Ben. I think he's had two red cards in his footballing career. 3.
That's
sorry,
all right.
Apologies.
But he nearly gave a goal away yesterday. Yesterday from just doing something stupid, acrobatic that he didn't need to do from their distribution, which nearly gave a goal away, which would have cost us a point and a massive position in the title race. So I just don't see it, unfortunately.
All right. Five red cards, but 2 of them were for Salisbury, which I'm not counting.
Fair enough, yeah.
But Mick, come on, talk to me about Angus MacDonald.
Yeah,
Give me the positive side of Angus.
I like him a lot. He's a very, very strong central defender, very strong, very experienced, isn't he? And it just adds to the set that we've got already. That's conceded just 21 goals all season away from in the league. He improves the defence wherever he comes in there, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Whether he plays at left side or right side or even we've not seen him playing centre, but no, I like him. I'm not in the same camp as Ben. I do understand the fact that he might have a red card in him, but every central defender in the world has a red card in them, don't they? Because sooner or later they're going to have to earn one.
Well, Woody, for example.
Yeah, precisely. So no, I like him a lot. It's good to see him back.
Go on, Ben. Defend your position.
It's not that it's a stupid red card; it's a stupid decision.
You mean like Joe Matic does sometimes?
No, it's not. It's not that kind of decision. It's a. I don't know how to explain it, but just like yesterday, like doing some acrobatic side kick to try and get the ball and let their player go through. It's just stuff like that. It's just a bit. I just don't like it.
I'm all for an acrobatic overhead clearance. I am all on board.
Yeah, I'm not when it's a big game in a title race. I'm not.
It just for me, that just shows that the pressures don't get to him. He just gets on with it, and he's just treated like every other game, which I think is a good thing.
Get to you, but he goes and scores that. Then Wycombe defend like there's no tomorrow. That we lose that game, and it's a point down. So.
Oh, no, but it didn't happen, did it?
But he should have.
I think when Wycombe are limiting our distribution, I think someone trying an acrobatic, it just goes to show they are trying to shake the game up a little bit.
True.
And I would also like to point out that Angus has had the same number of red cards as Richard Wood in his career, in terms of his professional career, both on 3.
There you go, Ben.
Yeah, but Richard Wood
has only been sent off once for us, whereas Angus has all the 2 red cards came for Barnsley.
Woody's been sent off twice, hasn't he?
Twice, okay.
Yeah, he got sent off Millwall last season. Last man won it. Where he fell off and he almost fouled him with his head. Brilliant. Yes. Ben, Don wants to know if you're with us for the next episode, just for one thing or another. You're with us on Thursday?
Fortunately not, no.
Typical Ben. Pops up for one episode. Anyway, move on. John S. Have I missed Mick's rant yet? To be fair, Mick, I thought we would get a much bigger rant from you about Wycombe's style and performance, but you were quite measured.
Well, I don't see point. You know what I mean? It's just, they're just, no, I'm not doing it. Not tonight. Not on that. It's pointless, isn't it? We've said you can't say anything that we haven't already said about Wycombe and the way that they play and the way Gareth Ainsworth sets his team up. They're simply, and it's as simple as this: they are not good enough to play any other way. And I don't care whether they've got up front or wherever; they are simply not good enough to play any other way. because if they were, they wouldn't play in that fashion. They'd go out and they'd attack teams and they'd try and win games, and they don't. So hopefully Wycombe will get what they... Well, it would appear against us, yeah. I don't know. Maybe they do it against other teams as well. It seems to me that you scroll through social media when Wycombe have played, and you pretty much get the same sort of feedback from other supporters of other clubs. So I don't know. Maybe it's not just us. Maybe it is. I don't know. But whatever. They'll get what they deserve anyway, won't they? And they'll still be in League One next season, and that's what they deserve. No ambition, is it? Well, that's what it is, isn't it? You know, you've got a rich American owner who's going to do this, that, and other, and then you've got a manager and a team with absolutely zero ambition when it comes to playing football. Great laugh. I wish I were a Wycombe fan. I'll tell you that right now.
I wonder if that's why they only attract 5,000.
I'm amazed they attract that many. I am amazed, and it's like you know what I mean. You listen to them banging on social media about calling people salty and everything else, and some of them are actually proud of it.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Some of them are proud of the way that they play. It's like, what are you watching? What do you do for fun? Jesus.
I think they're like looking at the scenery around the stadium, the nice rolling hills and the trees and the industrial estate.
Yeah.
But
well, what about the sign, the rock and roll football sign?
Dear.
Have you watched the person who's made that sign has clearly not watched Wycombe before, because that ain't rock and roll football.
I think that's meant to be ironic, isn't it? It's got to be. Surely that's got to be ironic.
Isn't that the name of Gareth Ainsworth's band as well, Rock and Roll Football?
Or is it?
I don't know. That meant to be a joke because he might have paid for it. I don't know. But
I could have done. That's his fee. You don't get paid. You don't get a wage. You just get a sign at the stadium. God, yeah. Rock and roll football, guys. But rock and roll. It's not rock and roll. It's rock and roll. The sign says.
If that's rock and roll football, rock and roll's well and truly dead. Good grief.
Wow.
Yes. It's brilliant. Where have we got John Oxtoby? Never again for the purist. Are we going to struggle to get over the line? He hopes not. I suspect not. Anyway, moving on to some more positive news. Michael Smith played his 200th game for Rotherham United at the weekend. Ben couldn't add to it, but he didn't really score. I think the keeper pulled off a worldly save, or it went slightly over the bar from a header in the first half. Smith just did his normal job. He struggled because of the way Chio played in terms of getting help in and around him, but Smith had another solid game for me.
Yeah, he was all right. It was just, I don't think he was as good as he usually is, but I think that's down to the way we tried to play and the way the game was going to be played. I think it was going to be if he was going to score, it was going to be a scrambling box from a corner or a run goal. So yeah, he did what he could. I'm guessing he did what his job was, and that's it. And that's all you can really ask for, to be honest.
Yeah,
that was a very football manager answer, that wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Have you been getting training from NFL Academy about media?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all you can ask from the boys. So they're on to the next one, one game at a time. That's all you're getting taught then. Not actually NFL stuff. Try to answer questions.
Just media training.
Yeah. Brilliant. Should we have a quick mention of Lewis Wing, because he got a lot of stick, Mick, and other than one shot. It must be hard work playing. For somebody who wants to play football, it must be hard work playing in a Wycombe team as a midfielder, because he just gets bypassed. And I just thought it was funny. He got booed quite a lot. That's all I just wanted to get into the show, really.
You're making an assumption there that Lewis Wing wants to play football.
Yeah, I know.
Aren't you? I mean, Lewis Wing has not proved at any stage when I've seen him that he actually wants to play football. It's not, is it? He doesn't. He's not interested. He weren't interested when he were with us. He clearly weren't interested when he were down at Wendy's. That's why Middlesbrough got rid of him. That's why they tried to palm him off on us. We weren't going to pay his wages. Obviously, Wednesday would pay his wages, for him to do no. And he's gone down to Wycombe now to do no, because Wycombe do no anyway, don't they? So it fits perfect, it fits right in there. So I weren't a fan of him when he were with us, and I said it on the podcast a few times. I said that there was something not right about his attitude or whatever. Well, he's gone on to prove that's the case, and he's just lazy. He is just lazy. And if he can earn $6,000 a week for doing what he does, I mean, crikey, O'Reilly. You know, it's immense, isn't it? Yeah, you can't blame him. But it's garbage, mate. Yes, he's garbage. And he's garbage not because of his ability, not because of his skills, but because of his attitude. So he's in the right place. He's in the right, bang on the right place. They're a perfect fit then to Lewis Wing and Wycombe, aren't they?
I definitely agree with the chant that we made up. It's just a lesser version of Ollie Rathbun, and then proceeded to foul him as soon as we sung it. Which is like, yes, you better be.
Yeah. Poor Lewis Wing. Get all this grief from me. What's up with you?
Oh, well, just put some effort in.
Yeah, all right.
Listen, we're Rotherham fans, aren't we? And we've talked about this many, many times. All we ask from our players is that they give us 100% effort, right? That's it. We don't, and that's all we ask for. Lewis Wing, if you're lucky to get 10% effort out of him, and most of that's expended walking down tunnel onto pitch, isn't it? You know, the rest of his time he just does not care. He's not interested. So
I'd love to see what his performance stats are like. You know, like in terms of distance run, because when we had Matt Brooks covering at least 100 kilometres a game, except Ollie Rathbun runs to the moon and back every game.
Yeah.
And probably Lewis Wing runs about, I don't know, probably down road to fetch his post, and that's it.
Yeah. Donald London. And mixed back, the world has realigned. We were getting worried earlier. There we go.
it's not a rant, is it?
It was a rant.
All right, then. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. He's still garbage.
You're going to look silly if we re-sign him in summer now.
Listen, you know what? I'll put my hand on my heart now and tell you now that if we re-sign him in summer, I will say exactly the same.
We'll see. I'm sure you will, unless it comes on the podcast, then you won't.
You'll just not have me on when he comes on, will you?
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be just be sat tired and take to one of them chairs like Mick don't annoy him.
Yeah. Andrew Kelly says there was no atmosphere at Wycombe for the Wycombe end, not the other end. Apparently they've banned a young lad playing the drum. Too exciting. Playing a drum, that's far too exciting for him, so that's why they had to do that.
I mean, it's an interesting point, actually. Can you imagine if we banned Miller Bear from our stadium for hitting his drum?
Yeah. The thing is, Miller Bear with his drum don't really add anything. That glide clearly added so much atmosphere. Sorry, Miller Bear, if you're listening. That's not your fault. But Paul Brock, what do you think of Rathbone? I thought I had a quiet game for him. Yeah, Danny, but it's just that in those type of games, I thought Barlaser was quiet, but not because of him, because the midfield was bypassed all game for both teams.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the only thing I can say for Ollie Rathbun is he did more running than Lewis Wing and had a better game. And the only way Lewis Wing could really stop him was by grappling on him, using his height advantage, and then fouling him. And then I'm happy to say Ollie Rathbun gave it back a fair bit as well. And you just saw the knockings of it being an interesting battle. And then it all went quiet again. But like I said, quiet game. I think it's because in terms of the ball being on the pitch, like I said, the midfield was bypassed and they only really got it on the floor into the midfield when we tried to play it on the floor. But then Wycombe stopped us and snuffled it out straight away. It wasn't a game for the midfielder. But I think Tuesday will be a game for the midfielder.
Okay, no worries. Danny, Dave Scrivens. Danny sounds like a Dalek. Can you
I don't know what's up with my mic. I've tried unplugging it and blowing up Portal. Oh no. Shall I leave and come back and try again?
Yeah, leave and come back. We'll see if we can sort it.
Right.
Brilliant. I think, you know what, that's a good time. Let's have a quick pause. We've got a new Manscaped app, which I'm sure is terrible. So you're going to hear from Manscaped. The product's amazing. But here we go. We're back, and hopefully, Danny will be back on the other side of this advert. Thank you. Well, we've already heard in the past few months about the legendary Lawnmower 4.0, the revolutionary Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped, and how it has changed the game with male grooming, below the waist grooming. I should also mention that it is designed for the below the waist grooming, but it also does help if you want to shave your face, if you want to shave your head, make sure you use it for that one as well. It really is an all-round package. Another brilliant product on the Manscaped website is the Peak Hygiene Plan. So if you're doing something with blades, if you're on a crop reviver, whichever product you choose as part of that plan, they will replenish. So when you run out £15 for every 3 months, they'll make sure you don't go low on any of these world-class products that they're providing. So if you haven't already, go on to manscaped.com and at checkout, use the code NYT, and that will get you 20% off and free shipping. And Ben highly recommends it. There we go. Thank you very much, Ben. Ben highly recommends it. Liam McGarry mentions that if Wiles didn't get tripped up at the end, we could have stole all 3 points. Personally, he thought it was a red. Now, we had this conversation between us three yesterday, and I'm sure that Danny will have a similar sort of comment as well. Mick, for you, for me, it was cynical, but it probably wasn't a red card because Joe Jacobson, the fullback, was just covering. But if he would have given a red card, I also don't think the defender could have had much argument either.
No, I think, it's an orange, isn't it? We talked about this the other night, didn't we? A yellow's not enough. A yellow and a free kick is not enough in that position. Bearing in mind that the situation that Wiles were in, he was going to be one-on-one with the keeper, no question about that. But it's not in the area, so it can't be a penalty. There's a man covering, so it can't be a red card. Yellow's just not enough, is it? I have no doubt that Wiles would have gone on to score that, covering defender or otherwise, But again, it goes back to what we talked about the other night. A similar kind of scenario as is he interfering into interfering position, Yeah. Is he covering into covering? How can a referee or a linesman in that instant make that decision, without being able to watch it back, without being able to watch it forward? You can't make that decision effectively, but we're asking them to make it. The bottom line is he's prevented a goal scoring opportunity. But what we're going to do is we're just going to add into there, but it might not have been if somebody else might have been able to cover. So let's put a bit of a grey area in there. And that's what's caused. That's why we got a free kick and a yellow card. In days gone by, without this, who is there a defender covering? That was a goal scoring opportunity, and it would have probably been a red card, justifiably so. So, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Not sure why Wilesy took it. Matic took it. To be fair, but no. we know he can. We know he can bang one in, can't he? But disappointment, really. But I mean, it nearly went in. The referee, to be fair to him, did play an advantage, didn't he? And, it kind of got almost cleared just off the line, if you like. Disappointing. But
what got cleared off that line?
When Wiles got through, it sort of it went towards goal.
Yeah, it kind of bobbled towards goal, and then it got sort of cleared out at 6-yard box, I think, is probably a better way. But yeah, I want a penalty for that, or I want a red card. A red card's not going to do us any good at that time of game, is it? Let's be fair. I want the penalty.
No. Even though it was that area.
Rules. Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. The Premier League are changing rules every game, aren't they? In terms of what's a foul and what isn't a foul. If anybody's not seen the Newcastle-Chelsea game today, have a look on social media. It's all over there. There's an absolute stonewaller that's just VAR have said that.
Well, I didn't watch that game.
I disagree with that.
I watched Leeds against Norwich instead, and believe it or not, Stuart Atwell had a really, really good game again.
You've said this twice now, Matt, and you and I need to have a sit down.
Yeah, he honestly had a decent game, but anyway, sorry for another day. Danny's back with us. Let's test your sound by asking Danny the when Miles instant at the end. Mick thinks if there was such an orange thing as an orange card, it should have been an orange card, but it shouldn't be a red card because somebody was just about covering.
Yeah.
That sounds better.
Oh, thank Christ. Yeah, join at the right moment to talk about the free kick. In my opinion, Wise Matic took it. I mean, he's done well to get it over the wall, but then there's the whole aspect of getting it under the crossbar, which he's failed to do. Anyway, but yeah, probably an orange card towards the end. Probably the same circumstance that Havertz deserved an orange card for Chelsea with his flying elbow on. I forget the player's name. More or less the same thing that one of our players got sent off for last season. But basically coming in with the flying elbow is like, but he's not intentionally done. I think it was Smith against Wednesday that got sent off for something like that. Potentially.
Crooksy against Middlesbrough.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. So
look at me remembering something that you want.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, so if Crooks has been sent off for that, Havertz gets sent off for that, in my opinion. But like I said, Premier League rips up the rule book and writes a new one every week. So anyway, but yeah, probably an orange card towards the end. And to be perfectly honest, I'm really looking forward to talking about Lincoln because that is one of them where it's just like, yeah, it's happened, and off it goes.
I'm same as you, Danny. I'm looking at clock now, wondering how the hell we've got 40 minutes out of that game.
We've got one more topic to cover. Yeah, we've got substitutions to talk about.
Oh, come on.
One substitute. Well, do you want it?
Crack on.
You get your own running order then.
I mean, question is though, have we been live longer than the ball was in play? That is the question.
It must be getting close now. 41 minutes live. Yeah. My question is basically Joe Mattock coming on in the 82nd minute. That was our second substitution of the game. And bear in mind, we had Asai Tutu and JJ on the bench. I didn't really understand. We'll start with you, Ben. I don't really understand bringing Joe Mattock on to change to a forward back, which made even less sense to change your entire system. I can sort of understand keeping everything the same and just keeping solid. But to bring Mattock on to make an entire change of formation when you've got some attacking players on, Asai Tutu's not all out attacking, is it? I didn't really get the Mattock substitution, and I didn't get not making a third substitution to. I assume JJ wasn't fit, to be honest with you, but what do you think?
You've gone to the wrong person because I think it's incredibly unfair. Because
which bit?
To analyse the substitutions and the tactics, because we don't know the game plan. We don't know everybody's fitness. We don't know if maybe Harding was carrying a little bit of knock.
But then you've got Tutu, who fills in that position, plays that position.
I don't know what the game plan was, so I can't.
The game plan was to change formation. I don't understand why we would change formation.
If you know more about the game plan,
that's what it was.
I don't know the game plan. I don't know what he was thinking, what he was trying to do. I don't know what he saw on the pitch to make him want to make a substitution. You've asked the wrong person. I feel unfair commenting on it because
cop out.
There's a lot more to it than just we need a change.
I'm not saying it was the wrong decision to make that type of change. My point is I cannot understand the change in formation. The change in formation presents more problems than it actually solves.
Well, you don't know, do you?
It does, and I'll tell you why. Icky got caught out. Icky went to right back, and he got caught out for being too narrow. And that's the problem. You don't know if Harding was carrying a knock, then he could have got isolated and made it even worse. You don't know. I
don't know what the game. I don't know what he's trying to achieve.
There we go.
You're asking the wrong person. You're asking the wrong person.
Okay, let's move. Let's ask somebody else. Danny,
ask Paul Warren if you're going to ask anybody.
I'd love to ask Paul Warren.
Right. When obviously Ben's right with the whole thing of we don't know if Harding was carrying a knock or anything.
I agree. Yeah.
But if Harding's playing on the right side, right, Chio is okay enough defensively to cover that right side. So, and if we need to go to 4 at the back, Chio can probably do a job as a right back if push comes to shove, right? Because he's not enough defensive acronym about him to be played as a wing back who has to do both. So he must have something defensively to be able to do it, right? With Ozzy 2-2 coming on, I agree that was probably the preferred option because if we need someone to run the channel, he is the more natural person to bring on. He's just a little bit less defensive minded than Matic is because Matic's a defender. But to bring Matic on, it was like virtually everyone in the crowd went, right, we're going for a point now. We've gone to the point, we're gonna try and sit on it and keep a clean sheet and stop them conceding. And you're right, Icky did get caught out at times on that right hand side because Icky isn't a right back, he's a centre back. But I mean, if you're going to play that sort of thing, like you say, taking Harding-off, I'd probably have make a double sub, take Harding-off and put Matic on, play Chio at the back, and then potentially bring on, I don't know, Aussie Tutu as well. Because we'd only made one sub by the time Matic came on, so make the second and the third switch up enough where you can still play with your four at the back, but still have someone who could potentially run in behind Smith and run that line a little bit. Someone with a bit of pace about him, a bit of trickery that could do a job there. But I don't know. I think Matic's main role was to shore up defence, don't let us concede. But unfortunately, it created an issue with Icky getting caught out on the right hand side. And unfortunately for Matic, he didn't do himself any justice by making a hash of the free kick as well. When Barletta could have played it short and someone just could have had a pop from it from outside the 18-yard box, which could have probably brought the same end result as well. But yeah, I think to analyze the whole substitution thing, it is like Ben says, we don't exactly know what we're on about because we're not football coaches.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's nice to talk about it and what we would have done differently if we were in that situation. Have someone run the channel, have someone who's a bit less caught outy in the right back position. But anyway, we can argue. We can argue about it until cows come home.
Me and Ben do.
Yes, but in my opinion, Matic was the wrong substitute. We didn't need if we wanted to really win the game, to bring on a defensive player wasn't the right shout, which is why I'm led to believe we were going for the don't lose idea, and that's why we brought on an extra defender.
Yeah, I agree. And to be fair, what I will point out is we're not having a dig at Warnium and his team.
Oh, no,
just not saying. It's just fun. I find it a fun conversation to have. What would you have done? Like Dennis says, what would I have done? Even though we're just four idiots that don't actually know anything about football. Mick, anything? What's your 2 pence worth on this one?
I ain't got any, to be honest. I think it would just look. Let's not lose this game. Let's get some bit more experience back there. If we can nick a goal, so be it. But another very, very experienced defender on there. They'd already brought Big Lad on, hadn't they? Who's incredibly experienced and really cute. So it may be just not from a strength point of view, but from a sort of footballing intelligence point of view, just trying to counteract that as well. So, the bottom line is we came away with a point. And I imagine most of them came away still awake as well, which you've got to be thankful for both them things, haven't you?
That is very, very true. Right, fine. Let's move on. Let's move forward to the game. Let's start before we move on properly. John Ox to be asked in the comments. How many points do the panel? We're panel guys. Do we feel we need to get over the line for automatic promotion? I will stick with what I've been saying. Yeah, I'm sticking with my 90-point comment, which I've been sticking for a while, which leaves us 13 points from promotion. For me, what is guaranteed promotion, and we have 9 games left. So win 4, draw 1. We're there. Does anybody have any answers to that? Have any different answers to that, or are we all agreement with that one?
I don't think we'll need that. As it turns out, I think ultimately when it comes down to it, I think 90 points will definitely get you promoted. I suspect probably less than 90. I haven't got. Don't ask me for a specific figure because I don't know. But I reckon four more wins and no defeats will see us up. Which I suppose gives you 90 points, doesn't it? 90 points plus. But I can't see us losing again this season. I genuinely can't. I can't see us losing again. It's just a question for me of how many we can win. I might be wrong. I don't know. I hope I'm not. Because I think if you went to end the season now undefeated, then you'd be very, very, very unlucky not to get promoted. Let's not worry too much about it for the time being. We're still a little bit because it's pointless, and because what's going to happen is we start worrying about it. Then we turn up on Tuesday night or we turn up on Saturday, and the crowd as a whole are starting to worry about it, so they're quiet, which then transmits to players who are also starting to worry about it. Social media is all worrying about it. Everybody starts, and it creates an atmosphere that puts more pressure on players ultimately.
But that's unavoidable.
It's not unavoidable, is it?
But it is, isn't it?
No, it's not.
For me, it's completely unavoidable because we're going for promotion. You can't not think about the scenarios.
You're missing my point. You're missing my point. Of course, you're going to think about the scenarios. Of course, you're going to think about, well, what happens if not? But let's not concentrate on the what happens if we don't, because what happens is everybody starts talking about, well, what happens if this happens? What happens if we lose this game or lose that game or lose other game? Nobody talks about what happens if we win that game, win this game, win the other game. Everybody looks on the negative side of it. And consequently, what happens is we get dull, boring atmospheres, dull, boring, nervous atmospheres at home games. That's what happens. And then it transmits to players. We need to be coming at this as supporters from a completely opposite direction. How many games can we win? We can win this game. This game is winnable. Not, oh God, if we lose this game, we're in trouble. We should be approaching it from a completely different mindset.
And that is exactly what was wrong with the MK Dons game.
Yeah, absolutely. God, everybody were thinking, and I'll listen. I'll stick my hand up. I thought exactly the same. Well, if we lose this game, it's not great. If we win this game, and that's the approach that as supporters we need to be taking, because we need to be making New York Stadium not only a fortress on the pitch but off the pitch. We need to be getting behind them. And I'm not, me, I'm not one of these people who it kind of winds me up a bit, when people bang on about crowd were quiet, no singing, no standing up and all that. It's just nonsense. I don't like it. But on the flip side of that, there is a serious point to it, and the serious point is that if we talk about this now, well, what happens if we lose 2 games or we lose 3 games? You need to approach it from a different point of view. That's my view. That's all. We need to be going down to New York Stadium on Tuesday night and lifting the roof off it. Even if we're 3-0 down at half time, we need to be lifting the roof off that stadium. But that won't happen, don't you?
If we're 3-0 down at half time, I suspect there'll be people fighting with each other.
Well, yeah. But you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
We've got a part to play in this running as supporters. And that part is not asking what's going to go wrong.
Okay. I'll just be prepared. In the next episode, I'll probably ask you about what's going to go wrong. So be prepared.
Yeah.
Cheryl Stone points out what you've been saying, that the fans have been really anxious at the home, especially against MK Dons. It's really affected the atmosphere. Yes, I agree. Paramed UK, we should be focused on winning the league. Without that mentality, I don't think we'll get automatic promotion, he thinks. And YouTube viewers points out these next 2 games will give us more of an idea. But I think they'll give us a very, very good idea of where we are, because this is our game in hand. So anyway. So then we weren't able to talk about in the last episode because it hadn't happened. Is Paul Warne had won Manager of the Month? I think retrospectively he got the curse, Danny, because he lost to MK Dons in the first game of the month, second game of the month. So curse is already done, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, we can say that. I mean, people are very quick to go on social media and say that's for sure. It's like, it's already happened. But the thing I found funny about it was on the official announcement about it, you had MK Dons fans piping up saying, we've already beaten them. Is this happening? They're not. Rotherham fans replying saying, you don't know how months work, do you? Which I found really funny. But yeah, I mean, hopefully MK Dons is a little blip. The atmosphere there was probably influenced by the fact that MK Dons were our third. And yeah, that's when the nerves creep into it. But as fans, I don't know, it's a weird way to describe it, but you sort of have to suppress your nerves and try and really get behind them on the day. Like, we're playing third place, let's beat them, come on. And I mean, when we're playing Lincoln, we're playing 16th. Now, but Lincoln are a tricky side. They were a tricky side when we played them earlier in the season. and they'll be up for this because their starting goalkeeper's now out for the season.
You were brilliant
so
at
they'll
that
be.
place.
Yeah, Josh Griffiths were amazing at their place. He kept it at 1-1. I can't remember who headed the ball, but he pulled off an absolute whirly to save that. But he's out, so they're now going with their backup goalkeeper, who has also kept 2 clean sheets in his last 3. So again, it's just, get behind him. We're in not only a promotion running, but a title winning running now. We're into the last 10. This is the home stretch, the last 200 meters of this marathon season, and we really need to get behind them now. And whenever the home atmosphere is really disappointing and it's really quiet and there's not a lot of singing or getting behind the lads, it is quite disappointing. It's almost as if we want them to fail, which is a weird way of saying it. But if you're not behind them in a literal noise sense, it reflects that on the pitch. And then they don't give that extra 10% that the 12th man can give a club. And like Mick says, if we really want to have a proper good promotion running, we need to be a lot louder in the literal sense, but also in a getting ourselves geared up for a game sense. Tuesday night under lights at New York against Lincoln City, one of our historically most played clubs. I think this will be the 95th meeting between our 2 clubs. We need to get geared up for it. We need to get geared up for the game. It's like we were geared up for when we played Sunderland at the start of the season and we beat them 5-1. We were geared up for when we played Portsmouth to beat them 4-1. Now reflect that sort of atmosphere onto the Lincoln game, and who knows what the score could be. But if we stay quiet, Lincoln might sneak it, which I really don't want to happen. Because then if Lincoln sneak a win, then everyone will go on Twitter and having a big grumble about us losing to Lincoln, like, oh, that's promotion bottled. No, don't think with that mentality. Think with the mentality of going for the league. Don't settle for automatics. If we get automatics, fair enough, and Wigan's pipped us to it, fair enough. We'll hold our hands up and say well done to Wigan. But whilst we're in this position, we cannot sit back on it. We need to say, right, it's league title or bust for the time being. Just go for it. Get behind the lads and go for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. On the Lincoln game, the referee is set to be Chris Sargentson. I will caveat that by saying the referee who we were meant to have on Saturday did change, so this could well change again. If it doesn't, let's assume it is Chris Sargentson. He refed us away at MK Dons. I don't remember anything particularly bad about that. What I do know about him is that he refereed Bolton against Morecambe last week, and Morecambe fans were extremely unhappy with him because of some decisions. And I've seen some of the decisions, and they were some horrible and horrendous refereeing decisions. One of the most stonewall penalties I've seen in a long time. It wasn't given.
Yeah.
So just bear that in mind. That yes, he was fighting against for us, but for other teams, he has been truly horrendous. So let's see what we get Tuesday night. 2 wins out of the last 7, Lincoln, but they have big away wins at Plymouth and Wigan this season. And they're one of them teams, Mick, that I thought at the start of the season, even when we played them in September, I thought they'll be in and around the playoffs. I'm really, really surprised they're down 16th. I didn't see this coming. I assume their fans probably didn't either. No,
probably not. They're a work in progress, aren't they? I think, and they've got some, obviously still got a lot of work to do, but they're going to be a tough team to beat, as is everybody that comes to New York Stadium. We're top at league. Everybody wants to beat us. So we need to be up for it, and I'm sure that the team will definitely be up for it. We, as supporters, need to be up for it. Let's be positive, for God's sake. I'm the one that at the beginning of the season was saying, hey, whoa, just hang on a minute here. Just calm down a bit.
I know that because I've gone back and looked at your preseason predictions.
No. That might be. I don't know what they were. I can't remember, obviously. But when everybody were talking in December and November and December, saying, "Oh, this is our season. Can we start celebrating or not?" But now we've got to the point of the season, where we should be sort of almost celebrating. We all start looking for reasons why we're not going to go up. Come on. What did you ask me? You asked me about Lincoln, didn't you? Yeah, they've not done very well, have they? But they're going to be hard for us to beat, so we need to be on it. We need to be on our game, and we will be. Warney will have the players up for this game, and we're more than capable of putting them away, putting it to bed.
Yeah, I think that's right. Ben, I asked you about your ideas on what Mick's just mentioned about mentality and where we are at the stage of season, etc. How do you feel?
What do you mean?
The mentality of promotion, and the potential negativity, the positivity, the fans making an impact.
I mean, I'm not trying to be. Obviously, we don't have a 50, 60,000 seat stadium. It's only 10,000, 11,000 at a game. So it's not. The fans don't play a bigger part as they would at, say, Old Trafford or, some of these Premier League stadiums, or even if it was Hillsborough and it was full for once, or Bramall Lane or somewhere like that. With like that where it's. I don't know how to explain it, but that's never been our ground atmosphere. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't think that's going to play a part. I think that's an excuse. I think there's got nothing to lose, and I think what happens in the next few games is going to show a lot about our players, and it'll show a lot about how they approach football. I think it's going to show a lot about the club, about the manager, and time will tell on whether they can handle it or not. And nothing to lose as fans. Just watch, see if they handle it correctly or not.
I think you're right. I think it will show the character of the players and the manager and everything else. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't agree on the fan bit, but let's not argue too much tonight. Let's go back and let's go ahead and look at what we think the lineups will be. Will Roebuck, are we having Reg back in on Tuesday? And that's a pretty big question, Mick, because as we mentioned, the back three didn't do anything particularly wrong when they were back three. But you've got Angus, who we don't really know his full fitness situation. Can he play Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday? Because he played 9 minutes on Wednesday. And Woody, that can also not always play 90 minutes on Saturday, 90 minutes on Tuesday. And bear in mind, we've got Saturday again next week. So it's an impossible question for us to answer because we don't know fitness levels. But what would you do?
I don't know what I'd do. But I know that it's not. I know that it's not a particularly difficult question for Warney to answer himself once he's sort of looked at Lincoln and looked at the players in training, because he's got 5 or 6 fit players who are more than capable of performing any of the roles that he wants to give them. Reg is now back. Yeah, maybe Reg will come in and Angus will have a rest, or Woody will have a rest, or whatever. But I don't think it's an issue in terms of ability back there. So whoever Warney decides to put in there, it will be the right decision based on what he knows about the fitness of each, and fitness and sort of fatigue levels, if you like, of each player. So I'd like to see Reg back. I would, but I don't want to see Wes Harding get dropped either. So I'm like, Warney will do whatever he thinks is right. That's not where our issue is going to be. I don't think our issue is going to be more further forward and how he decides to approach the game. And for me, it should be all out attack. It should be absolute all out attack, kitchen sink.
Why?
Lot. Why? Because we want to win the game. We want to get ahead. We want to get our noses in front, and then we need to put them into grindstone, because drive them into ground. Because what's important for me for this running now is the players are perhaps lacking either one, lacking a bit of confidence, or two, maybe a little bit affected by the pressure of the situation. So what could possibly be better than to go out and put 5 or 6 goals past the team, by attacking and attacking.
Yeah.
Let me finish, Ben. That's going to increase confidence. It's just going to give us a really good platform to build on for the remaining games. We know defensively, even if you go all out attack with Miller and Chio as your wing backs, you still know that defensively we are the strongest defence in this division, even with those two playing. So, that's for me. That's my view. Let's go for it. Come on.
If you go all out attack though, and you concede 2, or maybe
concede early,
and like you said, we've got a good defence. But how many did we concede against Hartlepool, and what division are they in? So it's irrelevant.
Different game altogether.
It is
no,
different
because
game,
if you're going all out attack,
you've got. Well, I always said in contrast to the Hartlepool game, you've got to look at Papa John's journey in total. compared to the league games, like we're probably not far off conceding more at Papa John's or as many at Papa John's as we have all season. We've conceded 2 against Crewe, 2 against Hartlepool, conceded against Cambridge, conceded against Port Vale, conceded against Scunny. We've conceded a lot of those games, whereas in the league, our percentage of conceding is much less. Percentage-wise, it's much lower. There's something about the Papa John's where shackles just come off defenders. I don't know what it is.
Is it because we're going all out in games and we're not? I think for me, I don't. Why is this a special game? It's a game of football. We've won so many games of football at home against worse teams, against better teams. Why is this all of a sudden this pressure and the way we have to go all out? Why can't we play football where we did all last year or this year at home? Why can't we just do that? Tie it back and punish them going forward. I don't know what the big deal is about this game.
I think it's because this is our game in hand on the vast majority of the division, and we want to put as much space between us and third place as possible. So with this game being our game in hand, that's now 7 points to MK Dons that they have to make up in 8 games, which is quite a tall order. I think that's why this game needs to be built higher than it has been.
True, but it is a game of football.
Yeah, but in the same sense that us playing Wycombe was just a game of football, but it could have had bigger repercussions if we'd have gone and tried to win it, which in the last 5 minutes we didn't. In the same sense that Chelsea against Newcastle was just a game of football, but given the context of it, it would have been quite funny if Newcastle beat Chelsea.
Would have been very funny. Oh, brilliant. So
Amnesty International would have had a whale of a time, wouldn't they? They wouldn't have known who to criticise first, would they? Would it be Chelsea, Russian Chelsea, or Saudi Arabia, Newcastle?
Just don't ask Eddie how.
No, don't.
The striking situation, Danny, becomes again. This is a question we can't answer. Well, maybe until the pre-match presser tomorrow, which will be Monday, because we don't know how fit JJ is. Is JJ going to be 90 minutes fit? Is he going to be an hour's fit? We just don't know, and it's difficult to answer for us at this point. Let's assume he's fit. Would you assume he'd start JJ?
Is Mark all right if you just use the computer one?
It's the same.
Right. JJ's fit.
We'll manage for the last few minutes.
Yeah, if JJ's fit enough, start him. If not, just go with probably Chio in behind again.
Okay, Danny, Ben. Sorry, any advances on that? Assuming JJ's fit, we're assuming JJ's fit. We don't know if he is. We're assuming.
Yeah. Strongest lineup, so just show back out wide and what's his face up front?
What's his face?
JJ.
Got it. Make any other changes? As Will mentions, quick mention for Ferguson. He came off injured yesterday. You've got to assume that means Miller's going to come in for the start.
Yeah, definitely.
Or 2-2.
Or 2-2, yeah.
Or 2-2, yeah.
You could end up with 2-2 on right, Miller on left, and Chio through middle again if JJ's knee's still not quite right.
What's he done to his knee?
He had some fluid build up on it. It had some fluid drained off it. So you know that Warney will not risk him if there's any danger of a recurrence of the fluid build up on the injury or whatever it was. So and is there any real need to risk him? Can we give him another game's rest or recuperation rather? He doesn't need the rest, does he? He's hardly played. Poor lad. But we'll see. Whatever. I'm turning to Happy Clapper now. If whatever one he says it's right team, it's right team.
Okay. Let's have some quick score predictions. We've got another topic or two to cover in not much time, but let's start with finish with some predictions on the Lincoln chat. Danny, Lincoln at home. Where are you guessing?
I'm going to say 2-1 to Rotherham. We're averaging 1.7 goals. They're averaging 1.2, so I think 2-1 fair shout.
Fair enough. Benjamin?
I've got 2-0.
2-0. Next style. Mick?
3-0.
3-0. I knew you were going to do that.
Smithy hat-trick.
First ever hat-trick?
First ever hat-trick, yeah. I will 1-0. Put those wrong way around on my piece of paper. That's fine. Paul Brooks says 2-0. Jamie says 3-0. Tip Top says 2-0. S64 Miller says 2-0 as well. we can't not be positive. The couple of topics to mention are international break that's coming up. We will know by the end of this coming week whether the Sunderland game is postponed. The Northern Ireland squad announcement is due probably tomorrow. Republic of Ireland will do something similar. As mentioned just a minute ago with Will Roebuck, a lot of this could depend on Shane Ferguson. If Shane Ferguson's injured, doesn't get called up, we can't use that as an excuse to call the game up. Now, we don't know. This is just a speculation, but if he is injured, that may take our option away of postponing the game. Now, Sunderland, from what I understand, have several England under whatever internationals. So there's still a strong possibility the Sunderland game will be called off. But we'll know. We'll hopefully know by our next episode if it's called off or not. Hopefully. I think we're done. Anything else? Oh, Danny, you go.
Yes. I'm sorry if the mic is still dodgy, but we're going to have to put up with it now. Well, I'll try my best. So basically, everyone at Kimmy Park is trying to organise like a mini football tournament in the summer to raise a bit of money for Rotherham Hospice. It'll be a £5 per person to enter. You can enter as a team with you playing with you all paying a £5 each, or enter as an individual and have your name took out of a hat and paired with somebody. We don't really know the logistics of it yet. It's either going to be 7, 9, or 11 aside, depending on numbers. But yeah, it's all to raise money for the hospice. Winner will get a little trophy and a crate of beer for their own, as well as some nice medals that we're getting off eBay. And then afterwards, everybody's in the pub, having a nice time. But it's all to raise money for Rotherham Hospice because we've been running the numbers and they only get 3 million funding from the government, but they need 6 million per annum to keep themselves ticking over. So as much money we can raise as possible, do them absolutely brilliantly. So if you want to get involved, just message Donna London on Facebook to get your name on the list. And we are looking at the 16th of January as a possibility. We don't know whether it's going to be Herringthorpe. July, sorry. 16th of July. Yeah, my head's gone. He's talking about Wycombe. Yeah, it's either going to be on Herringthorpe playing field or on Pewter Pot field, depending on if we can get nets up at Pewter Pot, basically.
Yeah.
So if you want to get involved, message Donna London on Facebook, get your name on the list. It's all raising money for the hospice. And we hope to see you come July.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see Mick running the central midfield in one of those games.
Nah, Mick's a keeper. Kind net.
That's what his wife says, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Well done. Boom.
Thank you very much. Jamie, get in touch with Danny. Jamie says he might have a Rotherham shirt to donate to that cause. So
yeah, that'd be fantastic.
We'll help in any way we can as well. Any other time. Don't forget as well, at some point this month or beginning of April, we're going to be doing our all-day podcast to raise money for the Ukraine Red Cross. Mick is so excited for that. I cannot wait. It will not shut up about it.
Can't tell you, mate.
Idea after idea from him. He's absolutely buzzing, as you can tell. But that's all subject to the game being called off, but keep an eye on the details for that. Ben won't be with us for that. So thank you all for being with us today. We've gone on long. I don't know how we've got an hour and 30 minutes talking about the Wycombe game, but we have. So well done to us and well done for you guys listening as well. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up. If you listen to the audio, make sure you subscribe to iTunes or Spotify or wherever it is you're listening to the New York Talk podcast. Make sure you give us a listen there. As we heard from earlier in the show, manscaped.com for any of your male grooming needs. Go to manscaped.com using the code NYT. 20% off and free shipping. And they are pretty good, to be fair. Benjamin, I've really enjoyed having you today. I love a good argument with you sometimes. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Mick, you've not really rantable today, but not been too bad.
Well, there'll be something, don't you worry. I'll think of something before Thursday.
No doubt. Danny, it's been a pleasure. The backstage vlog up tomorrow about 11 o'clock?
Yes, I think so, unless I look through the footage and Wycombe's been particularly boring, and then I'll just slap it on with the Lincoln City vlog.
It's been particularly boring at Wycombe, I can tell you that right now. You don't need to look at any word. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you all. Pleasure to be here. We will see you all on Thursday for the Lincoln review, and we'll look ahead to Shrewsbury. Cheers, guys. See you next time. Freddie's on one-on-one. Can Freddie finish shoot? Can Freddie go shot?